And so I pretty much came to the end edge. And as I explained from the beginning, I didn't know if I was going to get the right amount of squares to fit in. As you can see, that means I would be missing one row here, but I wasn't going to create any longer than that. So we're going to work around it. So what are we going to do? I'm going to do the 3 chain. 1, 2, 3. And I'm still going to come in the corner here and bring it in. I'm still going to do the walk through the chains and finish my paddle. And this way it all combines together, which there's no big issue because there's a paddle missing, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we work around the pattern. So, because there's a few more rows missing to have that that space, so we'll just bring it in here like that. Doesn't change anything at all. And then the next one that's going to go here, let's say here, it's just going to attach right into the corner here. So it's not going to change anything in our pattern, but I wanted to bring it up that it can happen that we could have been missing a row there. So you work with the pattern. It doesn't change any stitch or anything or any design on it. Everything pretty much stays the same. So I just want to make sure you know that. And I thought that would have happened. Normally it does happen to me when I do create certain pieces. And of course I'm not calculating how many stitches to have the squares fit in. So I figured it would probably happen. But then again, I was prepared to just pretty much get it fixed. Okay, so it will stay like that. And the next row we're going to have here, we're just going to touch it on here. It's going to make still the same design, not change anything. Okay, so I'm going to continue to finish this, and then I'll come back to that corner design there, the square, and you'll see how I'll fit it in. Okay, so we are on the edge of the pattern where we left off that we had to do the 3 chain there. So I'm going to go in where it meets here, do a slip stitch, finish my paddle, one chain, one single, one single, one chain. I continue on and add onto the next paddle. Birds are having fun out there. So all you hear around here is birds singing and dogs barking. How sweet. Okay, so now I'm at the edge of the corner. One, two, three, because you know the corners we do the 3 chains. And if you don't want to, just connect directly. Of course, my stitch is always very tight, so And just continue on attaching them. I'll show you in a minute what it's going to look like. And then into the corner. One, two, three. Four, five, and the sixth one. And then give it a knot because we want to make sure that everything stays intact. Okay. Of course, I made a mistake. As you can see, I made a mistake by tying this corner too, right? So you have to be careful because that's common to happen as you're going. I did all four corners attached. Jesus. Okay, so anyway. Okay, this is not happening like this for sure. Okay. So we have to leave it this way, people. Don't make the same mistake as I did. Just see what I did here. Okay, I see what I did there. Okay, so it's good sometimes to make these mistakes because if you come across them, then you know how to fix them. Okay, so we're going to tie it back in here. And we're just going to continue on. So we're making no chain on this one because we already have that chain there, okay? So it's a good thing that the mistake was made in order to, okay, so we're leaving it. We're leaving it this way because then our next square will join here, okay? So, because obviously on this side where we have the square already, we need to add another one in order to add it on here, right? So we got to add one here. to add on here. So that's the same thing. We're adding this one here to add this one into it. Okay. So just continue on, finish your square. And then we add this one here. I'll come to this one once I'm ready. Okay. So now we're going to do our 1, 2, no, sorry. No, we'll do it after. We need to go on here as normal. Connect here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's redo this again. So I'm going to connect here with single. I'm going to come back. We have to work with a pattern. So try to come up with ways of having it fit the right way, or the best way, I should say. Because there's no right or wrong. So we come into the next space, and now we attach. So this one doesn't have the 3 chain on the corner, okay? In order for it to fit properly, because of some rows, not enough rows to have a full square added on. And we'll do the 3 chain here. 1, 2, 3. See how that looks. I think it looks fine. And then we continue on the rest of our square. So we continue the other one the same way as we've been doing. Nothing changed. Was only like the corner situation there. 1, 2, 3. My stitch is always very tight. That's why a lot of times I grab the smaller needle to go through the spaces in order to get to where I need. And the corner one, we're doing the 3 chain. 1, 2, 3. Yes, I must have pulled the thread here. And there it is, coming out pretty good. And just continue. We're going to do the same thing. As you see, we only have 2 left, exactly like what happened here. So we got to do the same thing on this side. I'll get to it as soon as I get to it. I'll re-record. So we're getting into the corner again like we did on the other side. And we're going to add here 1, 2, 3 chain. So we're going to have the same issue here again because we don't have enough wideness, same size as the square, so we're going to have to work around it. So we're going to walk the chain back. We're basically right at the corner, and we still have 2 more to create here. Which really doesn't change anything on the pattern, you know. So I'm going to grab this space here and put this one in. Okay, as you can see, I'm just going to tie that one there. And that leaves us the last one, which is very easy afterwards to adapt. I'm just going to go right through it this way with the corner one here. And then on my next square, I'll work around it to attach it onto this one here. So no biggie. And so finish up your square. So I'm going to finish up my square too. So as you can see, right, so I had to attach these two here like that. And then the other one that's going to go on here, we'll attach it onto the corner and make the chains. So don't worry about that. It will all come to place just the same. Doesn't change anything. Just have to work with the pattern, because we don't have enough wideness to fit only two. It would have left a lot of space out. And then the three, well, we're missing space. I didn't want my pattern to be too wide, so we're going to work around it. Okay, so no biggie. These things are easy to fix and adapt. Okay, you guys, so pretty much on the edge, what I did was, because we know that this one's a little bit longer, right? So I did my regular union on here with this one, just attaching. And I attached here, which I didn't do the 3 chain, but it doesn't matter because the next row, the 3 chain's going to go on there anyway. It's not going to change anything. But might as well show you correctly so you don't get it mistaken. Okay, so might as well show you, because then it gets all confusing. So I'll do the 3 chain, because usually I know when I'm used to making my own stitches, so you guys don't. 1, 2, 3. So you add on the corner, regular adding, and slip stitch. Now, of course, if I was going to make the centerpiece wider, I would have to make a different motif, because then it wouldn't look correct, right? So I had no choice but to leave it that way and just work myself around the squares, which is no issue, no biggie. Okay, so we continue to do the normal adding back here. So I'll meet you right here at the corner so I don't waste too much memory. So we're at the corner. I'm just going to add it right on the middle here where we have the other 2. Get my needle out of the way. Just the same way. Then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 chain. I'm going to come and add it where our chain is, just so we can give it more or less the same effect. Not that it's going to change anything, but it's going to give a little effect to it, so it's not so noticeable, let's say, that it's not the same size. And then you go on to your next space and create your paddle. Now I'm sure probably this video already has to go to video number 2. Whoops, what am I doing? No, that's right. I got confused there for a second. Can get confusing sometimes. One minute to the next, you think you're okay, and then you got a boo-boo on. The good thing about it is when you can realize where the mistake is and get it fixed right away. Okay, so let's see what it looks like. So as you see, it didn't change nothing at all. Everything looks packed the same as here, you see? So you just continue on to the end, and you follow up and do the same thing on the other end. Okay, so I will meet you at the end of it, because now you could always back up and see how it was stitched or crocheted on, because it takes too much space, okay? And I'll meet you at the end of it, and hopefully we'll see if this is if I have enough memory already on this first video. If not, it's going to pass already to the second video. Okay, everyone. So I wanted to go on to the second row because obviously I have a lot of work ahead of me to put all these pieces together so I can finalize the videos, which will take some time. But I wanted you to see how the, let's say, second row will be added on like this. You can go ahead and do your thing while I do mine. Try to get myself here more. I don't want to knock the camera down, but such bad positions to put myself in. So 1, 2, 3. So you do the same thing always in the corner. The 3 chains. And you go, of course, the length you would like. I mean, I don't know for what size of table you might be doing this, or just very small table runner, I guess. You can make a rug out of this too by using an 8-ply. So basically we're just going to be adding always the same thing the same way. It's just the corners that change up a bit. I have literally the camera like almost on top of my mouth, my face. So it's kind of hard to reach out, get things done here, because we don't want the camera to be too far so you guys can see properly. Now that I've got this full screen app on, which is a nightmare to add it. I lost a video on my last recording. I had to record myself speaking, trying to explain the stitches. How horrible is that? Thank God for a follower that sent me a email telling me that I was missing 3 rows. Can you believe that? Didn't even know. Okay, so basically we're going to add now in the corner here. Okay, so we're going to do our 3 chain. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to slip stitch. We're going to do it right on the center. We're going to walk back our 3 chain. We're going to do the walk. Of course, my stitch is always very tight, so there's no hope on trying to get that thick needle through it. I never learned my lesson, do I? Should loosen a bit up when I'm doing the stitch, but the 3 chain, but I guess I haven't learned my lesson yet. I'm just going to show you, I'm just going to move this thread a little bit over so you can see better. And then you're going to have the other square that you're going to come and meet, which I'll get to that as soon as I finish this one. And then you just keep following all the way around the same way. So nothing to it. You could either go around, or you can do measurements on side or the sides, or for the length. It's up to you how you want to work it. Whatever works best for you. I'll start the other one, then I'll show you how it's applied on. Okay, so now we're going to apply our 4th one here. So we'll be going right in the center. Oops, no, 3, 1, 2, 3. Almost forgot. I'm going to go right in the center here. Slip stitch or single, whatever works for you. Don't like the way it's coming, so I'm going to have to use my little small needle. It becomes too thick with that, and I don't like that. And usually when I'm doing this type of work, I like to use a small needle to walk back so it doesn't make thick stitches on here. But then you just come and do your attachment the same way as we've been doing. So nothing to it, just make chains on the middle there and attach them together. So nothing complicated. I wish I had something shooting me thread constantly, because I have to keep reaching out for it. I try not to move too much the position of my hand because of the camera, because then it takes out of the focus, you know. 1, 2, 3. And we come into the middle here again. I slip stitched it. And now we go back and do the walk. Slip stitch. And this is pretty much how it's going to look like. So do your whole pattern the size that you are planning to do. I'll let you know at the end. Once I'm done with the whole video, I'll put in the description box the size of it or how many flowers it took, because it will take a lot. I think I'll be doing it for the dining room for sure. Most probably. Not for sure, most probably. And then that's a 6-seater and up. So it's going to take a lot of squares. And I'll take it from there and let you know what's going on. So I'll meet you at the end. It will take me a few days to stitch on all these squares and have the length that I need exactly for the dining room. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end and make you see the end result and see if we're putting an edge to it or not. Okay. Okay, everyone, so I pretty much been working on this almost a week. And yes, it has been a lot of hard work, but I think end result, I think you will love it. So I'm trying to come up with an edge for it. And I like this little edge. It's just 3, what do you call it? Trying to think of the name, my goodness. Picot. So 3 picot together and 2 chain coming down with 1 single crochet in the middle of these petals. So you would start anywhere you'd like. So let's say you would start here single. I still don't know what I'm going to do here. I guess I'll see as I go. So 1, 2. I'll probably do a try to fit in here if I can, and if I can't, I'll use a smaller needle for it. So we have 2. Let's see how this works. I'm going to do 3 chain. Probably should have done a single, not a slip stitch. So, and sometimes I like to do it like this on camera because then you'll understand that sometimes you need to play around with the stitch and the pattern to see what best fits you. I'm still doing the slip stitch. Good God. Okay, let's try that again. So I did 3 chain there. I did 3 chain from here to there, but here's 2 chain only. So let's say I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to do a picot here. See how that works. If I like it, I keep it. And if I don't, I'm going to take it down. So if it's too hard because of all the single crochets in there, so I'm going to do singles through here. I think I best better grab my other needle somewhere. I think it's probably better to fit into these tight loops, so single. The only thing is when you're using a smaller needle to go and loosen up your stitch, because 1, 2, and 3 will become too tight, too small. So I'm going to do a single here in the middle. So this is where the square separates. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to do 1 single. And I'm going to come back in again right here and do another picot. So 3 chain. And don't, like I said, if you're using a smaller needle to fit into your, don't tighten it too much or else it's going to look funny. And so I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. Change my needle because I don't need that smaller one anymore. Since we did the 3 chain here, we're going to do the 3 chain here so it can add up to the same thing. So I like that. I don't think it's that bad. I think it looks pretty good. And 1, 2, right in the center of your paddle. Do a single, chain 3. So picot. I mean, everybody knows how to do the picot, right? 1, 2, 3, I'm going to grab it on the same one. I'm not grabbing it here on the other picot. I want it to stay flat. So 1, 2, 3. And when I mean flat, I don't want it to, and I'm going to go back on the same space. So on the first, so I wanted to have it together here. I don't want it to go up in the line. 1, 2, 2 chain, and in the center of the paddle a single. So if you understand what I'm saying, I like it to have it all lined up over here. 1, 2. Now I could have made this tablecloth bigger because it is a 6-seater, but I don't want to. I want it to go just up to the edge of the table. And of course, once it's pressed, it's going to stretch out more. So 1, 2, 3. And again, I'm going to do my picot on the same first single. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and back into the first single here. So basically, I'm not closing in on the picot there. 1, 2, 3 chain, 2 chains, sorry. And I'm coming in between the paddles with a single. So this is what it's going to look like. So you're going to have, of course, besides the corner one, you're going to have 2. My thread is stuck here somewhere. And again, here we're going to do 3 chain, 1, 2, 3. And of course, depending up on each person's stitch, you might need 2 only if your stitch is too tight, or I should say too loose. Or you need 3 like myself if it's too tight. So I'm just gonna go on the first one here. So I'm gonna skip this one here just to, so we can have it evened that out. Just look at it. So it's on the first one here. Okay, so we're gonna go on the first one here. So we're not skipping, we're going right directly on the first one. See what I mean? Like the stitches are so tight in there now. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. And we're doing the picot. And then we're just gonna go into the next space and do single. And then the next one we're doing the picot. 1, 2, 3. So we have one space of single. And like I said, I mean, you play with it, you know what I'm saying? Like, not necessarily you have to do exactly the same thing as I'm doing. Your stitch might be different. So you got to see whatever fits best for you. It's not going to change anything on the pattern. So I got my 3 picots there. 1, 2, 3. No, what am I doing? I'm still on here. See, it's always good to always look. Okay, so the next one we got to do a single. And then on this one here, we're going to do the picot. Okay, so we do a single. On the next space, we do the picot. And like I said, you do what do you think is best for you. Sometimes your stitch is way tighter than mine or too loose, so it won't probably fall in the same space. What is best is for you to figure out what's best for you. Okay, so here I made a mistake already. I put 2 picots together, which is not good, because this is the separation of the squares, not the loops, not the petals, I should say. Okay. No issues. So we're just fix it up a bit. Okay, so we're going to go into here, single. That's in the center. Okay, 1. So single. Sometimes you might have 1 space with a single or 2 space with a single. Like I said, it depends on the stitch, right? So just go along with it, whatever way works best. Like on that back one, I have the single, and then I went in with a single right here on the corner. So I have 2 singles here. Of course, the second one we do the picot, okay? So 1, 2, that's not good. It's pulling on my thread. That's what happens when the needle is too small for this thread. 2 and 3. I'm trying to loosen it up, but you know, you're working with a tiny little needle for this size of thread. It's not coming through properly, but we try our best. Okay, so I'm just going to look at it. So now from here, we're going to do 3 chain. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes you create something, you don't even know what the hell you're creating. You just go with the flow, whatever you think is best. So we're going to go in between the petals with a single, right? And then here in between the squares, we have 3 picot. Okay, so here we're going to do 1, 2, and we're going to go right in the center. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to go on the first one here. Now you can slip stitch it or single, whatever way is best. Sometimes I do slip stitch, sometimes I do single. My thread is all cut up.